All right, Justin, we are live.
Yeah,
Uh,
are we?
we are. Give everybody a chance to get in here. Starting an hour early today. Hopefully, I'm on better internet today. I think it will be better. Let's not jinx it. Um, Welcome in everybody to the Auburn Sports at Noon show, formerly Auburn Live, Auburn Sports now. Me and Justin Hokanson here to break down anything fall camp related is going to be the topic today. Um, Comments, questions, please bring those in. If you have them, I'm sure you do because we've got a lot to cover. Justin, would
Mm-hmm.
you agree?
Yeah, we got to cover it in 50 minutes because
Oh,
Zach said I got more important things to do than deal with you guys today. I
well,
got
we threw Friday on him. To be
we
fair,
did. Schedule's a little weird now with camp, but we wanted to try to maybe still keep doing these as long as we can. Might be harder in the season. We'll see. We'll just kind of we never did this. So once we get past the summer, it's kind of
I think
seeing what
we
the schedule looks like. But maybe we can still kind of piece together one or two when a
did,
week.
didn't we start doing this like on Mondays during the season, and I think at one point we were recording them, then we started going live with them. Maybe my memory fails me.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Um,
Yeah. Well, yeah. All things fall camp today.
yes, fall camp. Man, we've seen a lot of practice, Justin. I mean, I can't. I'm trying to remember. Have we seen this much practice before? Like in the last few years? I know Hugh Freeze has come out before and stepped in and was like, "Hey guys, y'all hang out for a while. Put your cameras and phones away and all that, and you're good." I feel like that's happened a lot this year, especially the Saturday practice. That was the full 2.5, almost 3 hour practice that we just got to sit there and watch from a bird's eye view. So I feel like we've seen more than usual. Do you feel that way?
Well, I don't know about more than usual yet. Like we'll see if we get shut out the rest of the way or not. But certainly we've seen it twice in 4 or 5 days. So it feels like you got a pretty good look at it.
I got a question for you. Who would you not want to be the announcers for the Auburn Baylor game?
Oh, I don't know.
Is there anybody you just don't like, an announcer duo? Because we're getting to that point now where we're about to hear about announcers. That's how close we are. Someone even brought it up on the board today.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know the announcers enough to worry about it. I mean, I'm sure that there's somebody that would pop on and go, okay, this person's kind of annoying.
I mean, as long as it's not Beth Mowens.
The only person like when you ask me that question, I'm trying to think. The only announcer that pops into my head that I feel like consistently I don't like listening to is Rod Gilmore.
Rod Gilmore. I can't even think about what his voice sounds like at the moment.
He's probably the only one that I've heard multiple times and been like, what are we doing, man? But yeah.
Is it a voice thing for you? Is it you just don't like the way they do it?
I mean, partially a voice thing. I would think that you're going to put on RG3. I would think. I mean, a lot of guys that get on TV. I mean, you got the voice has got to be okay. But yeah, certainly if it's a voice, it could be like. But it's even more than the voice. It's just whatever color they add. Like either you've got decent perspective or you just kind of say things that you're like. What's the worst is if you're a fan of a school. I can understand like you're an Auburn fan and you're watching a game and the team. If you feel like you know the team better than the announcer, like he says something and you're like, dude, what are you talking about? That's the worst. Like when they just get like routine things wrong and you're like, you can't even prepare the game enough to like tell the story right or get a guy's name right or that's the worst. Like, dude, just go home. Like, I'm just gonna put you on mute if you can't even
I will say this about Beth Moen. I think she's prepared. I think she knows football. I can't do the voice. The voice drives me insane. I just can't take it. I don't think Auburn's going to get Beth Moen. So, does it feel like if you get Beth Moen, you're not having a good year for a game? Like that's
I
like
don't know. I
a
don't
noon game. You don't want that.
I don't pay
I would love Gus Johnson. That would be awesome. Zach says it's a good thing you're not an FCS fan, Justin, because that happens a lot. What you just said.
Yeah. So you mentioned practice. So Alex says, what's been the biggest surprise, good and bad, so far in camp? Gilmore can be a little patronizing. Like Gilmore, I don't know. I just don't like him. I will say here. We'll just start with this. I walked away from Saturday, the scrimmage we watched not scrimmage, the practice we watched inside Jordan Hare last Saturday. I walked away from that practice not feeling great. I walked away going, okay, like I didn't walk away from that Saturday practice thinking that it was a whole lot different than what I'd seen last fall. I mean, I just was like, I don't know. I mean, nothing stood out. I don't know. I didn't. Hugh Freeze said afterwards that he thought they battled through the heat and humidity pretty well, but I just thought, I don't know. Like Jackson Arnold was fine in the practice we saw Saturday. He made one specifically really good throw that I remember rolling out, hitting a guy crossing the field. But other than that, he was just kind of okay. And I left just kind of going, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just didn't leave thinking this team I just didn't leave with a bunch of great feelings. What day was it? Today's Friday. Was it yesterday we watched? Yesterday.
Yeah, Thursday.
I left yesterday with a completely different feeling. I left yesterday with a completely. Now, maybe it's because we saw some really good 11-on-11 action at the end, but really it wasn't even that really. It wasn't even that because the defense kind of dominated that. I just thought the whole practice, I just thought it was higher intensity. I thought that there were guys at different points making play, like a bunch of, whether it was 1-on-1, 7-on-7, some 11-on-11. I feel like every time I looked up, somebody else made a play. And I walked away from Thursday thinking, number one, I love the energy and intensity. I'm like, it felt good. I thought it was a really good, positive energy. But I really left the practice thinking, like, we talk about the talent being better. And that was just so evident to me. I was like, at different points, there's just more people that could make a play on this team than what you've had in years. At any point, there are just more dudes that I think are capable of making a significant impact, like a winning impact, a winning play in an SEC football game. Do you understand? Like, that's what I walked away on Thursday going. I mean, I watched Cam Coleman make a play. I watched Bryce Kane make a play. I watched Deuce Knight. I watched Strader. I watched Ken Lee. I watched Donovan Starr make a pass breakup. I watched Elijah Melendez fill a hole. I watched Amaris Williams make a play. I mean, I could go down the list of guys that I saw make a play at some point. And that's kind of my thing, man. I walked away Thursday just going, we talk about the talent being better. We all agree it is. Thursday's kind of the first time where I really was like, I see it. I mean, you just have more, there's more options and there's more opportunities for guys that I think that are capable of making a play. And I left thinking this team is, that's the first time I thought this team, like 9-3, not only do I think 9-3 is capable, like I think it's really possible. I mean, I think defenses could be better than you think. I'll tell you the other thing is I walked away saying the defense is the X factor. I walked away going, all we do is talk about Jackson Arnold, receivers, offense. Is the offense going to be better? And all that's true, right? Like, that's all, like, legit. But I was like, man, this defense, if a couple of guys step up, DeMarcus Riddick, if Xavier Atkins, if Malik Blockton, if Zeke Walker, like if a few of these guys step up, defense is a top third defense in the SEC. And I don't think people nationally or even around the SEC, I don't think that they're thinking enough about potentially how good the Auburn defense is going to be if you start to factor in Jay Crawford, Kayan Lee, Caleb Harris, Keldrick Falk. I mean, you start to go, there's some guys that there's some really good players on there. So anyway, I left Thursday a lot more optimistic. Now, it's just one practice. They could scrimmage today and be terrible. I mean, they could have a terrible scrimmage today. But I did leave Thursday really liking what I saw.
Yeah, I think I maybe had a little bit of a higher opinion on Saturday's practice than you. I felt good about a lot of things. Quarterback play left me a little bit, I wasn't entirely sure what I was looking at that day from what are they trying to get accomplished. So I didn't want to make too much of a judgment on that. I did write about the quarterbacks, but it was very shallow. I didn't want to go too deep into it. It's just basically their mechanics and their throws and their comfortability and things of those nature that people are wanting to know about. I think all that looks good from all three quarterbacks. I mean, quarterback room, what an upgrade from a year ago, I think. Just as a whole, so much better. You feel much better about that. I agree with you. Thursday's practice was legit. It was intense, physical. It looked like a team that's going to be really good all around. Every position looked like it was good. It just all looked like competition. It was going one way. Chaplin would beat Falk, and then Falk would beat Chaplin, and then you'd have Cam Coleman and Jay Crawford battling it out, and Crawford would get one rep, and then Coleman gets the better of him on the next one, and you go, that's elite competition right there. That's not just somebody's dominating. It's going back and forth, and you know why. It's because both of those players are elite. And I thought there was a lot of matchups like that on Thursday. So, yeah, I like the way it's going. I like the trend of the team. I'm looking at it now and going, dude, if you can't do it with this roster, this is it, man.
What? Do what with this roster?
Have a good season. Have a good a turnaround season. 8-9 wins. Yeah. Do something big with it.
Yeah,
I think it's capable of that. That doesn't. I'm not predicting. I am not predicting Auburn to win 8 or 9 games. I'm telling you, the roster's good enough to do it. I feel very comfortable in saying that.
Well, then you got to predict it. I mean, there has eight wins. It's got to happen. I mean, it's just it can't. We can't play games like 8 wins is the floor. It has to be. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I don't want to predict it though because it could still go a lot of ways because we don't know everything. I mean, play callers.
It doesn't need to go. It doesn't need to. Like it can't. I mean, could it? Yeah, but
it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scotty wants to know how Jamonte Waller's doing. I think he's. He had a tough injury. He had a surgery on his foot. It's a weird injury to come back from. I mean, I think, because he's planning off that foot. His get off is all on that foot. So you got to give him a minute to get back into the rhythm of things. Now, I will say he's smaller than other guys, noticeably. Wouldn't you say, Justin? He is definitely smaller, the smallest of the edge group.
So yeah, he hasn't flashed to me. I mean, I don't know what kind of year he'll have, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Chris Murray's played out. Obviously, you have Kieran Crawford. I'm not sure where Waller fits into the mix this year. I mean, I think he can help at times, but I don't think he really has. I don't even know if he's going to have an impact on winning and losing this year. Like, I don't think he's going to have that impact.
No, not this year. It's going to be a minute before he gets back. You can see some flashes. I do, with his twitch and stuff that I saw on tape in high school because he was awesome. But that foot injury was tough, and it's going to be a minute. Rebecca wants to know, feels like last season fundamentals were lacking. Do we think that'll be better? It's hard to predict.
Let's see what Baylor looks like. That's kind of where I'm at with this team now. Is I'm like, the talents. There's good talent. It still can be better, obviously. But I'm pretty much at the point of anything else I want to know about this team. We'll have to start to find out at Baylor. There's really not. I could watch more practices, and I'm sure we'll get another chance to. But at this point, I think I don't know about fundamentals till I watch it in Baylor. Till you get on the road in pressure, what's it going to look like? What's that offensive line going to look like? We hear about that group being better. They should be better, but man, they had some breakdowns last year that were costly, and it hurt Peyton and it hurt the receivers, and they had some plays last year that would make you absolutely shake your head at how some of that stuff could happen, how the miscommunication could happen on the offensive line at times. So same coach, some of the same players. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really hard. I will say one of the notes I had was about the receivers from Thursday. When they went off into special teams work, Justin, and a few of the receivers are not a part of that, like Cam, Perry,
Yeah.
Horatio Fields, Sam Turner. They're working on the jug machine. They're like they got a guy standing next to them, hitting them in the shoulder and hitting them in the hip, and they're knocking their hands off, just standing there while they're watching practice. That's what they're doing in order to get those fundamentals right, to get that part of the game fixed. And I felt it was noteworthy. Marcus Davis, Maurice Harris, they're on them the entire practice. If there's a period where they don't go, they are working on fundamentals.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the other positions. I think DBs probably do the same thing, but I saw that going on a lot, and that's encouraging.
Hayden says, what's the big win you hang your hat on if it's 8 wins, or is it more about the quantity than the quality? I don't know specifically if you're 8. First of all, you could be 8-4, and you could be, you sort of have to start to talk about league record with this, by the way. I mean, because of the Baylor game, the normally, I mean, it just like they could lose the Baylor game and be 5-3 in the league. There's the league record matters to me too. Not just if you're 8-4 and you go, yeah, I guess the worst case it's 4-4 in the league. That's not bad. I don't know about which win you hang your hat on about the 8. I will say this: I was just on a show, and they asked me about the Baylor game, and we've talked about this before. How big's the Baylor game? I wrote about it at Media Days because Freeze talked about it. It's big, and we all know it's big. I don't think that game is as big as people are making it out to be. I think it's big because right now with Freeze and the program, the next good opponent is the biggest game. I mean, because of where the program's at, there's just so much pressure that until you relieve the pressure, which really won't happen this year, like unless they're 7-0, but there's just going to be a lot of pressure on this year. And so I feel like every good opponent will just be a big game. I don't view Baylor like if they lose at Baylor, a team that could win the Big 12. What are we going to do? We're going to walk away like the world's ending? I mean, the whole season's ahead of you. I look at the OU A&M games much, much bigger. Like to me, nothing's do or die, but boy, you need to split those games somehow. Like those are the two I look at if you're 0-2 and then Georgia comes in and you could play a great game and lose that game and you're 0-3. Then you got to go 4-1 down the stretch in the league to get to 4-4. That's a lot of pressure. So I look at OU and A&M, and I think people internally would tell you OU and A&M is like, can we split those games? If you lost to Baylor and then you went out and you split one of OU and A&M and you come into Georgia 3-2, but 1-1 in the league, like splitting OU and A&M to me is how you get to like 5-3 in the SEC, which to me would be a big deal. So do I think the Baylor game's big? Yeah, it's a great opportunity. But I don't think if you lose that game, you don't walk away going, there goes the season, like in any way, shape, or form. I think OU and A&M is where if you walk away from those two 0-2, even if you beat Baylor, you could beat Baylor. But if you lose to OU and A&M, you're 0-2 in the SEC with Georgia coming to town. And really at that point, you're like, beating Baylor doesn't even matter anymore because we just lost to OU and A&M and Georgia's coming in and we're staring at if we lose, you're 0-3. So that's just how I view it. I maybe don't view the Baylor game like some kind of just, barometer of everything with the season. It's a big one. It's a great opportunity, but I don't think if they lose it, it's like.
No, it's not that big. But what it is it's almost like desperate momentum that you need. And like you desperately need that momentum to start the season with everything that's gone wrong. To see that go right is almost bigger than actually winning that game in the grand scheme of things. Just getting that jolt before the season or as you get into the season, into your SEC schedule. I will say this to continue to build on your point of Thursday's practice. The competition I saw, the amount of players who I believe can help Auburn and serve a role on this team and make plays if they are put in a situation versus what I have watched from Baylor and the amount of players they have that can do that, I think Auburn wins this game handily after watching that. Is that crazy?
No,
That
it's
doesn't
not.
mean Auburn will, because we know there's other factors. But as far as
No.
a roster on paper versus, or at least not even on paper, what I'm seeing at practice versus what I saw in game film from 2 full Baylor games that I've watched, I pointed out 6 players for Baylor that should bother Auburn. Like these 6 players, you should be concerned about them a little bit. Sawyer Robertson, the running back, Bryson Washington is really, really good. Their offensive line's great, in my opinion. And they got a couple guys on defense. After that, nobody really impresses me that much for Baylor. They're coached well. That's maybe the thing that scares you. Auburn's got
Road game, true
dozens,
road game, like
I'd
road
say
game, and that
dozens.
matters. I mean, road atmosphere like that matters. That'll be a factor. I mean,
Well, sure, that's the factor. I would say Auburn's got dozens more capable players than Baylor. I'd go that far.
I'm looking through some of these questions. Somebody asked about receivers, or well, let's see. After watching the first 2 weeks, there we go. Receivers. Let's talk about this real quick. Some 4 wide with Cam Perry and Simmons Singleton. Certainly, you're going to see 4 wide. Could easily see those 4. But I think the
We haven't
receivers
seen it in practice at all, hardly, have we?
Yeah, like I mean, yeah. To me, I've seen a bunch of 3 wide and like Preston Howard or
11,
whatever, but
11 personnel, one tight end.
So I don't know. I mean, you'll see the good thing is you've got some talent at receiver that if you wanted to go 4 wide, you actually could do it.
Sure.
And in all 4 would be a viable option within the play. But receiver wise, I'm going to tell you what I think, and you tell me if I'm seeing this right. From what I've seen, I feel like it's, and understand receivers are rotating a lot, but in general, I feel like it's Cam with Turner behind him. I feel like I give the edge to Horatio only because of maybe experience, and Perry's right there with him, though. I think Perry's coming on. Like, to me, I've seen as much of one of those as the other.
Yeah.
And then I'd go Eric, and then you go Eric, and then Malcolm's right there. Eric Singleton's just elite.
Yeah.
Malcolm, though, is going to play a bunch. And that's how I see Cam and Turner behind him. I see Horatio and Perry's right there. And I see Eric and Malcolm right behind him. Like, that's your 6. That's kind of how I see it. But at any point, you could go, it could be Sam, Eric, and Horatio. It could be Sam, Eric, and Perry. It'll depend on if somebody's fatigued, if somebody needs to come out. If it's a running play, can we get a few reps of Perry blocking so somebody else can take a rest? Like, they'll rotate, but more times than not, like, I feel like Cam, Eric, we know Cam and Eric. I'll ask you this. Who's the third playmaker right now? Cam and Eric. Who do you think of those other guys is like, I need a play. Like, it's 3rd and 8. I need 3 options of a dude getting open. Is it probably Horatio still at this moment?
No,
Perry,
Malcolm. This has got to be Malcolm. Right?
But that's what I'm saying. Would you have Eric and Malcolm? Would you toss Malcolm on the outside, or would you toss Eric on the outside?
Well, what
have
I think
you seen any of that in practice?
Yeah, I've seen them both in the formation at once. Even though I think, Justin, they do play a similar, like the letter, like ZXH or whatever they call it. I think they're both H's in this case, or Y's, whatever they call it. I don't know. But they do the same thing, as in, they can be in the slot at times, or they can be outside. They move around a lot. Those are the 2 interchangeable pieces, I would think. But they can both be out there at the same time. This is how we used to do it at Huntington, Justin. It was 11 personnel. That's what we were talking about, where you have 1 tight end and 3 receivers. We had like 3 personnel groupings. So instead of going, hey, Malcolm, you're out here, he knows he's part of 111. That's the first one. So they just call 111, 111. All right, well, Malcolm might be a part of 211. That's the second group. 211, 211. In 211, he goes to outside. In 111, he's at slot. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's how they might be doing it based on what I've been seeing. They have personnel groupings for each different look. Same for 12. 112, 112, 212, 312, 10. We haven't seen much 10. Like 4 receivers. I don't remember seeing it at all. I could be wrong. but definitely when they go through plays on air, they're either in 11 or 12 personnel. So tight ends are prevalent in this offense, especially Brandon Frazier, especially Preston Howard. Hunter Hanna wants to know how many reps do you see Bryce Kane getting this year? Speaking of all the receiver depth, where do you think Bryce Kane is in this? I have an idea of where he is, and I put it in the power ranking, Justin. But what is your opinion on this? Where is he at?
Oh, I mean, nothing against Bryce Kane, but there's just too much talent. There's too much talent right there, especially kind of in his role. I mean, Malcolm and Eric are ahead of him in sort of that. He's not an outside guy, really. I mean, so I think everybody we named the 6. I think anybody else outside of that is it's going to be tough sledding once you get into the SEC. Like those 6 are going to get the snaps. I mean, I don't really know. You'll somebody else will get a couple snaps here and there, but
Right.
I'll tell you a guy that I've liked looking at that I don't think he's going to make an impact this year just because I think the receivers are in good shape. But Duke Smith,
oh yeah,
I haven't necessarily seen him make any plays. What caught me was his size. I haven't stood next to him and watching him out there. I'm just on the hook again. I haven't seen him like stand out making plays yet. He's not there yet. But his size, I'm like, wow, that's a good looking. He's lean, but he's every bit of 6'1". I mean, he's not small. I mean, he just the size and the athletic ability are there. I was talking with Jason Caldwell, who writes for 24/7, and we both agreed that a lot of Courtney Taylor vibes, a lot of super athletic, maybe a little underrated. But watch out, he could end up being really good. He could be a really good raw playmaker. So we kind of had some Courtney Taylor vibes of not like a 5-star like Aroma Shadu was or Obamanu was, but he could end up sneakily being like a really, really good player.
I agree. I've been a big fan of Derek Duke from his time at Southside. Man, he is a effortless, natural, never has to think about it playmaker. It's just natural. I have seen him do one thing, Justin, that really it kind of made me do a double take. He was in a route, and it was like a comeback route, and he was covered really tightly by somebody. I don't know who it was. One of Auburn's several corners who can play, and had him kind of by the jersey. Like it was a little handsy, honestly.
Yeah.
And Duke broke into his comeback, and he threw him off. I went, oh, I like that. I'm glad to see that. At least he understood that. And, those are the kind of things that it takes them a while to get going because they don't know how to throw a guy off who's tight in coverage. They don't know how to break. They don't know the timing, and it looked like he was looking okay there. So maybe he's coming on.
And love what we've seen from Turner. I mean, we heard great things. Sam Turner caught people's eye in the spring, and he continues to do it. He is the real deal. I mean, again, loaded receiver room. I don't want to set expectations super high, like he's going to go grab 35 passes this year, but he's a good player and he gets open. And so he is, I don't know how he'll break in. He's still a freshman and there's guys ahead of him, but the talk you've heard about Sam Turner is legit. He's a good player. And I think the future's bright. All right. What do you think about Bradford's question about this quarterback?
I don't think I'm comparing him to Shedrick Jackson, but would you agree that he's kind of built like Shedrick was?
I mean,
got that bigger, lower
way
body.
better, but Shedrick was short. I mean, Sam Turner's 6'1". I mean,
I think Shedrick was 6 foot, right?
I don't know. Shedrick was maybe 6 feet, maybe. I like the length in Sam Turner more. Bradford asked an interesting question. Do you think every quarterback in the room now is better than every quarterback in the room last year?
I think
that's a weird. First of all, what does better mean? Like, does that mean are you prepared? Are you prepared to throw any of the quarterbacks on this roster into a high pressure situation over any of the ones last year, or do you just mean like Deuce Knight's incredibly talented? Yes, he's probably the most gifted quarterback on the roster in Auburn for years. But is he? But I don't know if that means is he a better situation right now than Peyton was last year? Like those are
Let's
kind of different
base
questions.
it off of talent ceiling. I think talent ceiling is stronger in Jackson Arnold and Sam Turner. I mean, Deuce Knight.
Yeah, if you're talking about just pure talent, yeah, certainly Jackson and Deuce are more talented and have a higher ceiling than Peyton, and probably Ashton. I mean, Ashton's as a legitimate runner, and I don't. And from a passing perspective, I think Ashton and Peyton are probably comparable in terms of accuracy or throwing power. Like I think they're pretty good, but Ashton's ability to actually run, and he's not a small guy, I think gives him almost the edge and even running the ball. So it's if you wanted to say, I think all three quarterbacks on this roster are more talented and have a higher ceiling than anybody, certainly last year or the year before. You could say that. You could say this. You could say that. You'd have to go back to, obviously Bo Nix was really talented, but even if you're talking about totality of a room, I don't know. You could go back a lot of years and you could make a case that the ceiling for the totality of this room is one of the better situations that Auburn's had.
I think so, and there's been some ups and downs with quarterback, but I found a statement that I made in the first couple of months of Hugh Freeze's tenure that I said either on a show or maybe both in a write-up and on a show. With this regime at Auburn, I will always feel okay about the quarterback room. I got dogged for that a little bit because of the way the quarterbacks have looked.
Yeah.
But you can't argue. He has put together a nice quarterback room. You got insurance. You got a starter that you kind of believe in a little bit.
Yeah.
At least they do. And talent ceilings are up there. Ashton, I agree. Ashton Daniels is a really good runner. I think he might be the best runner in the room, actually. But his touch on his ball is just not, it doesn't compare to the other two to me. They just have great touch on the ball.
Yeah, I'd agree. Lance asked an interesting question. Which running back gets left out this year with all the talk about Omar? Is it just Alvin not getting carries? We got to watch them a little bit yesterday with Cobb back in the mix.
Yeah, I think he's you can see it from him. He's going to emerge. I mean, emerge. We already thought he was one of the top two. I think he will reclaim that spot.
Yeah, and with all the talk about Mabson, I don't know if you and I talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it with somebody else. Keep that stuff in perspective. Omar Mabson is a good-looking freshman. He's very low to the ground, very strong, man. You look at his lower body, dude is strong. I mean, he's got the potential to be a good back because he's well built. It's going to be hard to tackle. His vision's going to be pretty good. If his vision's good, he's going to be hard to see at times for the defense. But he's not going to be one of the top three backs on this team. It's going to be Damari, Jeremiah, and Darrell Robinson. Like that's your three backs. That's your guys who've played big time football. That's your three in some order. It'll be interesting to see among those three who, if one guy steps forward to be a stud, or is it just a rotation? But who it might be. Standing next to Darrell Robinson yesterday, that's how they should look, man. He looks different than even Jeremiah. Yeah. Like that guy's, and he's not 5'9". I mean, he's 6 feet tall, and he's balanced in how he's built. He looks,
and he still could add some weight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he's got a frame to add some weight. Like he's built well. Damari's just played a lot of football. I really want Damari to stay healthy and have a good year. He deserves it. He's talented.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Cobb is obviously going to be really good with his speed, but Darrell made a one-handed catch yesterday. I don't know if you were over there. They were practicing swing passes.
Yeah.
Dude, Darrell made a one-handed catch. I don't know. He caught it with like one finger. Anyway, those are your three. Who breaks out of that group? I could easily see Darrell Robinson breaking out of that group. It could be Cobb with his speed. Cobb could turn into he could meet all the expectations, or Damari could just be a complete workhorse. I don't know. It could be any of those guys, but don't count out. I would say any of them, and certainly don't count out Darrell Robinson.
Well, wouldn't you say trustworthiness is a big quality they're going to be looking for with who they have in the game? I mean,
yeah. fumbles.
Even though
blocking.
Damari had his fumbles, I think they trust him to handle the ins and outs, the pass pro,
No.
all the things that it takes. They're not going to be there yet with Omar. Now, they could decide, look, he's good enough for a carry here and there. I don't know. I'm curious, Justin. You were around in 2010, right, for that season?
Yeah.
Mike Dyer was the guy that emerged. He was a freshman. I think that's like the only time a freshman really took over the running back spot that I can remember, at least that far, without going too far back. Is that right? I mean, he really took over the
freshman,
job.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. I mean, Tank, I guess recently, but yeah.
The other running backs in that room were McCaleb and Fannin, and that was it, really.
And Fannin, golly, Fannin it wasn't like a disappointment, but Fannin out of high school was a 4-star athlete, just a beast. And he was just built so well. You're like, dude, this dude could be awesome. And it just kind of never came together. He had shoulder issues, and he just wasn't a pure running back.
He had a fumble issue. That's what.
Yeah, he always had like a shoulder brace going on, and he just kind of never was.
Zach said Fannin might still be fumbling today.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this room, for people that remember, this room makes me think back to, you got to go way back, but it makes me think back to like 2001.
Okay, I got it.
2001 kind of days. So back then you had Cadillac was a freshman and Ronnie was a freshman, but you also had Cassinius Moore, who was a really talented back and almost he had almost as many yards as Cornell that year. But you had a guy that rushed for 300 yards. You had a guy that rushed for 526 yards. You had a guy. So that season, Cadillac rushed for 614. Cassinius Moore rushed for 526. Ronnie rushed for 330. So you have three guys that combined for 1,500 plus yards. That's sort of how I look at this, where now Cadillac was that we knew how good Cadillac was going to be. They don't have that in terms of like a freshman that you're like, that dude's going to be a superstar. But you had three guys that combined for 1,500 yards that year. I feel like it could look like that. I feel like at the end of the year, you could look up and say, one dude's got 600-ish rushing yards. One dude's got 500 rushing yards. One dude's got 350, 400 rushing yards. Like, yeah, I could see that playing out.
How about, I'm looking at this 2001 running back roster real quick. Shows you how much football's changed. There are 12 running backs on this roster.
Chris Butler was on that team.
You have Michael Owens, Cassinius Moore.
Fullback.
Okay, so some of these are fullbacks.
Owens is a fullback.
Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams, Cornelius Fuller.
Nah.
Chris Butler.
Butler, who was from Hoover, who went to Nebraska and then transferred to Auburn.
He was from Hoover. Marshall Thornton. Don Timmons. Yeah, Darius Allen, Brandon Johnson. And they also had Derek Graves and David Irons listed as running backs. Of course, they did not play running back.
Yeah, Derek Graves turned into a linebacker.
And David Irons was a corner.
But, yeah, so even Chris Butler on that team, Chris Butler was a great player and a great athlete, but he never really – people remember he had a touchdown run against Florida in the 0-1 game that mattered. Like he got in a goal line situation and had a touchdown run in Auburn's upset over Florida. But he didn't have – he ended up with 90 yards rushing. But, like, he was talented. It's like that's just what this room reminds me of. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one of these guys busts out and goes for 900 or 1,000 yards. But it feels more like what I said before.
I just don't feel like the others in the room would be left out that much. I don't see a situation where that happens. Like, they got to utilize them a little bit.
I think it could easily look like 600, 500, 350, something like that.
I'm glad Horace is asking this. By the way, that's one of my favorite usernames. That's also his username on the corner, Horace from 3. Do you remember when Horace Smithster took that 3-pointer in the
Yes, the Kentucky game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody was sitting over there going, "What are you doing?" Anyway, funny. He wants to talk about punt and kick returners, and he sees a big step forward this year in special teams. I just want to say this. One of the reasons why Auburn got in trouble so much on kick returns and holding is because they felt like they had a good kick returner in Jeremiah Cobb, so they were trying to open it up for him, and they worked on it, and they ended up just holding every time because they were trying to get a good return. That's what's got to be fixed. That part's got to be fixed. Do you have more weapons, though? I mean, do you still see Cobb being the guy? It's got to be Pleasant, right?
Yeah, I think
Kick returner.
punt returner, we've seen over and over Malcolm and Eric Singleton. So punt returner, one of those guys. And we even talked about it in the press box Saturday. I said, man, I would put, if there were chances, not even trick play wise, I would put Malcolm and Eric both back there on punt returner at times. Now it takes away a blocker. So like, I'm not a special teams coach and you got to figure that out, but not even like a thing where like one guy acts like he's going to catch it and it goes the other way. Not even, just literally, I'm going to put Eric Singleton on one hash and I'm going to put Malcolm on the other. And then you punter, you figure out which way you want to punt it. Like I would do some of that and go, if you want a directional punt, cool, punt it straight to Eric Singleton or punt it straight to Malcolm Simmons because they're both so dynamic with the football that I would hate to see. It could be a problem for teams. Like I would hate to see a punt situation wasted. You would put a lot of pressure on a team that way. Kick returner, yeah, you got to think Pleasant. He's done it. He's fast. He can, he's coming back from injury. We saw him out there yesterday. You got to think he's back there. Cobb still makes sense because he's got the speed and he's also got the running back sort of vision of kick return and what it takes. So I'd still think he's probably those two would be, I'd bet. On probably who's back there, I guess.
Yeah, punt returner, we've seen a number of guys working there. Malcolm Simmons, Eric Singleton. I've seen Perry Thompson go back there a few times.
Malcolm would make sense back there. I mean, I like that.
Perry, I'm glad they're giving him a shot because that's, to me, I've been saying this for a long time, Justin. That's his skill set.
Kick return.
Give him the ball and let him work. Like he's that kind of player. That's what he was in high school. He's big, but he's got moves. He's fast. So you saw he clocked it, whatever, if that's legit or not. I don't know. I think it might be because I've seen him run. He's fast. I think he's really good with the football in his hands, and we haven't gotten to see that much. Yeah. And he's just not going to be fun to tackle. Think about having to meet him, in the field.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'd be for that. I'd be for that. I'd be for that.
So they definitely have put him back there a few times. I don't know if he's like in the running or not, but he's taking some punts. They've done it with a lot of guys. Will Upton, I think, is one guy, a walk-on that does it every year, and he's like a safety guy if they need him. Rayshon Pleasant, I saw him yesterday or on Thursday taking a couple punts. So that they got some weapons there. They might could steal a point, steal a touchdown or two by doing that this season. We'll see. Lance Pierce, what former Auburn player not named Cam Newton or Nick Marshall would you love to see in Hughes' offense? Seth, we were actually talking about this yesterday with Nathan King and all those guys. Seth Williams. Give me Seth Williams in this offense.
I would take Larry B. Tunsil right about now.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of offensive linemen you could name.
Give me Laramie Tunsil on opposite of Chaplin, and I would.
How about this? Do you think one day, from what you've seen so far, Xavier Chaplin can be put into the same category with a Laramie Tunsil or a Greg Little? Some of these big OTs that Freeze was talking about the other day that he's had.
I mean, I don't see why not.
He's capable, right?
Man, he's another guy. We've been to practice, but like yesterday, getting more up close and personal with Chaplin.
Do you feel like he got the better of Keldrick Falk in a couple of those one-on-ones?
He did, but like standing next to him, that's a perfect example of you go stand if and obviously people don't go to practice, you don't really get to. But if you could go down, if you were on field level, you stand next to Chaplin and you go, that's what it should look like.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what it should look like. You look at him, he's bigger than every other. I mean, just his size and height, and you're like, that's a tackle. That's not a no offense to Dylan Wade. Right. Chaplin, you're like, that's an offensive tackle. Tyler Johnson kind of looks like that too. He does. He didn't really take off like they thought he might last year, but Chaplin's just like, man, that's what it should look like, and that's a hard guy to get around.
There's a couple guys that look like that. Tyler Johnson, Miller, he's always looked like that to me. He's a very lengthy guy, tall, too tall. That's why they call him that. Too tall. But you still think Miller? I think he's going to play a lot. I don't see him as a backup. I see him as the sixth man.
Yeah, I think that they learned from last year. I mean, I think there's some guys, like I think the interior is pretty set. I don't see a lot of rotation. Sorry, I'm coughing so much. I don't see a lot of rotation with the interior three. I mean, Connor Lou is going to be in there at center every snap. Dylan Wade's played too much football. And Wright, I don't know who's backing up right now. Who do we?
It would probably be, Dylan Senda, I think.
So maybe Senda would be the best shot of getting in there interior. I do see the potential.
Or Carter, DeAndre Carter's on the left.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was going to say I think last year Hugh Freeze talked about rotating on the O line, like that becoming more of a thing where you keep guys fresh, and like normally it's like that's your five, but rotating a little bit. There's a possibility of that with somebody like a Xavier Miller, or Tyler Johnson, but you're not taking out Xavier Chaplin unless he's dying. So
right.
So then you're maybe there's some stuff where Mason Murphy rotates out if he needs a fresh, like go if Tutal's kind of right there, put the fresh guy in there for a series, and then put Mason Murphy back in. I could see a little bit of that, but the other four, maybe Senda and Wright, but certainly the other three from Lou to Wade to Chaplin. I think that unit, that not gonna be much rotation, I think there, but certainly Senda or Tutal or Tyler could add some freshness there.
I think probably it would be Tutal or Murphy that would kick down the guard in a situation like that. I think both of those guys have been working some at guard, and they could do that. Yeah. At least they're trying to get that they're trying to get to that point. Willie asked kind of the same question, will there be many sets where there's no tight ends on the field? Maybe, but I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, still a lot of tight end, even like I said, like obviously blocking situations. But man, I've seen a lot of Preston Howard in pass sets, and I think he's got some capability as a stand up tight end, move him out kind of in the slot, and you got 4 wide out options. But he's looked pretty good as an athletic option at times. Maybe it's a situational thing, but
he is. His if you watch his film, he might surprise you a little bit. Actually made some plays. Contested catches, he had 8 where he was really covered and made the play. So, that's a pretty good number for a tight end if you're targeting him, maybe once a game, if that. He gets 8 contested catches where he is covered and he makes the play anyway, out of 10 targets of those, by the way.
Yeah.
So good percentage. He might be a guy that can help you out. I thought it was interesting too, Justin, watching when they do it's like a 1-on-1 drill, but it's really a 2-on-1 where they have a D lineman going against 2 offensive linemen. And the D lineman's trying to split it like a double team. What they're doing is they're having the tackle and the tight end work together a lot in this. So, yeah, they're planning to use tight ends. They want to widen the front. They want tight ends to be in blocking situations. Tate Johnson's going to be out there a lot. I would expect to see Tate Johnson as an extra blocker out there a lot.
What else we've heard?
There's a couple questions just from the board, like 2.
Well, while you're pulling those up, I was going to say I got a text a couple of days ago. It seemed like some people were wondering about kicking. We heard, and so I asked somebody 2 days ago up in the football building about kicking. They said there haven't really been any concern. They said as a group they've been about 80-85%. We heard Hugh Freeze say that McPherson has been pretty automatic when he's in there. They're still monitoring his health, so he's still getting some breaks, and they're making sure that he's not being overworked. I would say that's the only thing maybe I'm watching is from seeing practice. McPherson looks pretty good, 40 and in. But I would say that because of his weight loss, you think back to him as a freshman, he's always had a big leg. I don't think that's back yet. Like he hit a 43-yarder yesterday on Thursday. That was about all he's got. I mean, there wasn't a lot of room there, maybe another 5 yards. But normally, his freshman year, you're watching him in pregame warmups, and he's hitting from 60. So that would probably be the only thing to watch is I think 40 and in, McPherson looks like he's got the power back enough to make those. I wonder about 45, 47, 50. Do they, if they go for a 50, is that Towns.
He's got
He
a
hit a
leg.
few on Thursday. I think he missed one, but I think he's kicked better. That's probably the only thing I'm watching is if it gets to 45, 47, or if they attempt 50, is it McPherson or is it Towns Magoo?
Yeah, I think McPherson's got some accuracy going on, and they trust that. Like you're saying, in the shorter field goals, the longer. I think Towns has a serious leg. I mean, really, he's an impressive kicker. I hope that it works out for him because it was tough situation.
But he's got a cannon. I mean, he hit one yesterday from he kicked the same 43-yarder. McPherson kicked it, made it by about 5 yards. Towns followed that up, made it, and it would have been good from 60. I mean, like McPherson's just his power's not there yet, and Towns is he's still got a cannon. He's just got to get the accuracy, get his confidence, keep his confidence up. He needs people around him that will lift him up. But man, like the legs there. So that's the only thing I'm curious about is that a two kicker? Is that a Towns situation if you get into long field goals? I think potentially.
That makes sense to me. A couple things from the corner. Jimmy H36, he wants to know, do you think we'll see less drop back passing this year? Like maybe Freeze goes back to his RPO roots more now, or do you see more drop back passing being that there are more receiving options? Do you think your pass protection might hold up better? I don't remember there. I mean, really, there wasn't a lot of drop back passing. I made a note that the Vanderbilt game was the most drop back passing I saw all year. In fact, by my count, there were 16 of those in the first half, which was
the Vanderbilt game.
The Vanderbilt game.
That was the worst game for Auburn offensively all year. That was, and actually, I thought it was Peyton's worst game. It was like,
they gave him 16 drop back passes in the first half instead
that's
of
the
the
only
RPO.
game. Even through Peyton's struggles, at times, like I would also go, yeah, but that was like the only game. That was one of the games where I was like, okay, what this is. I thought it was like the worst game offensively. I thought it was a disaster.
Well, it gave credence to what we had heard, even in fall camp. Like he was comfortable with the RPOs and he executed those pretty well all year. You get into the drop back stuff, and that's where you start struggling, of course, because you got pass protection issues, timing routes are off. It just threw everything out of whack, and that was their most out of whack game, and the play calling supports that. Exactly what we thought. Do you think there's more of the drop back passing this year? Would you be surprised if it was more RPO heavy or more drop back heavy?
Oh, I don't know why they'd be dropping back. I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of shotgun RPO, quick stuff. I mean, it'll be
take the shots at your guys every once in a while. I think I made the comment to you, Justin, after we watched Cam Coleman make 2 unreal catches. Like, you almost just want to take 10 of those a game. How do you stop yourself from doing that, knowing how good of a chance he has to catch the ball or get it interfered with?
Yeah, get it interfered with. I want to see Cam. That stuff's awesome. I woke up this morning, I thought about, like, those catches were awesome to see, but I get those are going to happen. They're going to do that stuff where it's going to be like, just toss it up, when in doubt. But I want to see Cam. I want to see him get a lot of opportunities on a 8-yard comeback or give me a dig route. Like, I want to see him get him the ball 5 yards down the field and let him use his length, and it'll take somebody 5 yards to tackle him. First down. Like some of that, he's such a big target. Give me a little dig route and sit down and give me a nice target where I can hit you and your range is going to make something where we can, I want to see that, and where you just are such a big target that it'd be hard to stop a 10-yard dig route or slant stuff. I want to see that stuff too. We're going to get a deep ball to Cam. We're going to see that, or the jump balls in the red zone. But like, I feel like he's going to really, where it's really going to matter, between the 20s, getting him the ball. Like, can you imagine if you just go 5 yards, boom, sit down, he catches it? Think about when Sammy Coates would catch a ball. It would take a DB 5 yards to tackle him. And then now you have a first down. It doesn't have to be that hard sometimes.
I think Keandre Lambert-Smith made a living off of your out routes and your little option routes where you sit down and it looks like a hitch or a comeback and he's just over there. It looks like the DB's 5 yards off of him. I think you'll start seeing Cam Coleman doing a lot of that this year. I think he's taking over that role, him and Singleton. But I see his route run has gotten so good. I think he will be used for that. And then, like you said, he's big, hard to tackle if you're 1-on-1 with a DB. You like that. So, Lord George wants to know, how are we feeling about the interior D-line right now?
The bodies are there. I think about the interior defensive line like Moneyball. It's going to be, can I get what I need to get out of an interior defensive line? Can I do it with these 6 or 7 bodies? As a group, can they be the same thing as if I had 2 studs? That's the goal there. I mean, maybe somebody emerges, but like between Malik Blockton, Zeke Walker, Dallas Walker, obviously Crawford and Autry, but they're freshmen. Jay Hardy.
I thought Jay Hardy,
Bobby Travis.
Jay Hardy had a great Thursday practice, by the way.
He's a big man. It's a big man too. Bobby Travis. As a group, can I rotate those guys enough, keep some freshness that they produce what I need to produce as a group? Like, that's the goal for that group.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the interior defensive line just because of the number of guys I think can help and play and give you snaps. I was kind of surprised at how much I saw Zykevis Walker on Thursday. Saw him a lot.
Saw a good bit. And I think Dallas Walker's a better option than like Isaiah Rakes last year. So I think you
do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm there yet on that one.
Yeah. Like Rakes, he was kind of a one man. I mean, it was kind of like a one trick pony. I feel like, I don't know. I think a little more versatility than.
I think Jordan Crawford's better than Isaiah Rakes, hands down.
Yeah.
And will be eventually. Last thing, we'll make it quick. We got to get out of here. But Jay Culture AU wants to know, do you sense urgency in practice from players? Does this camp feel any different, in y'all's opinion, than years past?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I did make the comment at the beginning that I felt like watching Thursday, I was like, there's more dudes that could make a play at any given time that I've seen in years. So given that, I do think the camp will feel different. I don't know that I feel anything different, like, oh, these guys want it more than they did a year ago. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, you watch it, you go to camp a year ago and you're like, those guys are competing hard. They want to win. I didn't feel like, so I don't feel like there's any more of a sense of urgency or any more of a chemistry. I mean, I thought there was some of that last year when we'd watch practice. I never came away going, these guys like don't want to be here. I never thought that. I think the sheer number of players that can make a play at any given moment elevates everything. And they're not there yet. That's compared to where they were, right? And like where they were is not where they need to be. So in comparison, you got to keep, if you're Auburn, you're comparing to Bama, Georgia, Texas. So they're not there yet, but just the sheer number of guys, I think elevates the level of camp a little bit just by that alone.
I was going to say competition. There's competition everywhere. It's not the same guy winning every rep. Sometimes that guy gets beat, like Keldrick. I don't think he got killed by Xavier Chaplin, but it was certainly at least a draw.
Yeah,
where Keldrick's not just beating this guy straight up. And I think there's a lot of different matchups there where they're going both ways instead of he's just winning every time. No, I'm not seeing that. I see a lot of competition. Intensity's high. I think the coaches believe they got something. You can kind of feel that from them. And their intensity is matching that, some of those, competitive matchups. So I like the way it's going.
And last thing, I see Cameron Miller make a comment in here about Perry. Perry still might transfer. Like, I don't even know what the point is. I mean, Perry's had a good camp. I wrote a story about him yesterday. He feels more confident. That's still a loaded receiver room with Cam, Singleton, Horatio. Like, Perry could still not get the playing time he wants or thinks he deserves and could still decide that he wants to go be the man. That could still happen. Like, nothing about how Perry's performed in camp means that he's better than Horatio or better than Cam or better than Eric Singleton, by the way. Like, so we'll have to see how it goes, but nothing is sort of, those are sort of two different things. So I like that Perry's getting better, but it's still a loaded receiver room and you're going to have to earn your reps to get out there. I mean, Perry could be getting better and still be the 4th best receiver in that room.
Yeah, I think he is getting better too, just from watching. I think his routes are cleaner. Of course, you won't know until he gets into a game situation. And is he relied on to run the routes that require separation and things of that nature? We won't know that until we get.
And I never said he wasn't good. I said he's in a receiver room that's pretty loaded. And I'm like, he could be good and still it could still be hard for him to go get 20 passes next year. I mean, I don't know. Right. I mean, there's just a bunch of good options there.
Right. All right, Justin, we'll wrap it up there. Good show. Good stuff. If you have any more questions, hit us up on the corner or the bunker. If you are not with us, you can get on for $1. Get you in for a week. Try us out. Think you will love it. You get all kinds of perks to go with it, including a loaded national team that just added Ross Dellinger. Justin, I think you know him.
Yeah.
Brett McMurphy was added not too long ago. Josh Pate is now a part of this. Get on the train, man, because it's moving. So we'll catch y'all later. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for joining us today. For Justin, for Zach, who stayed in the back. See you next time.